Now we're going to get into the meat of this module and implement some new password policies for the users we have just provisioned into the Windows Active Directory domain. Back in the Windows Domain Controller server and inside the Active Directory Users and Computers Management Console. Here we have this new user called Linux1. Let's select it and right-click on it and click on Properties. Go to the Account tab. Here, under the Account options, let's modify the first option in this list, which will enforce a password policy. Let's check the first password policy option. User must change the password at the next login. This policy is helpful when you want your domain users to secure their accounts by changing their passwords upon next login. This may be needed as part of a general security audit, which happens periodically, or in some extreme cases after a data breach. Now, click on Apply. Click on OK. Now let's switch to a Linux host and see how this password policy change affects our login experience. Here, select Other and supply our credentials for the Linux1 user. Click on Login. Enter our password and click Login again. And as soon as this user account is authenticated, the user is prompted to change the password. You need to supply the current Windows domain password and click on Login. And now this Linux system is asking for the new Windows domain password. Click on Login. And we are prompted to retype and confirm our password choice. Let's do that and click on Login again. And now, after changing our Windows domain password, we are able to log in successfully into a Linux host. You saw how to change the password policy on the domain server and how it affected the login experience for the user who is attempting to log in into the Linux host. The Windows Active Directory domain forced the user to change their password upon next login. The Linux host was able to enforce this policy and facilitate the change of password for the network domain user. Okay. Let's log out of the system and get back to the Windows Domain Controller server. Back in the Active Directory Users and Computers Management Console. Let's select this Linux1 user and apply some more password policy changes to it. Right-click, click Properties, switch to Account tab. Here, let's select this option called User Cannot Change Password. Click Apply and then click OK. Now let's switch to the Linux host and log in as user Linux1. Okay, great. So now we have logged in successfully into the domain joined Linux host. Let's open a new terminal window and attempt to change the password for the currently logged on user. For that, execute the command passwd. The passwd command is used to change the password of a user account. A normal user can run passwd to change their own password, and a system administrator, the super user, can use passwd to change another user's password or define how that account's password can be used or changed. As the output, this command is confirming that we are about to change the password for tetranoodle \Linux1 user. Now it is prompting us for the current password. Let's apply that and press enter. If the current password is correct, it will accept it and prompt us to enter a new password. And now we need to supply a new domain password. Let's input that and press enter. Oops, it did not like the password. Let's try to enter a more complex password. And now let's retype it to confirm the password and press enter. And voila, we got an exception with an error message which states access is denied. This is because in the Windows domain password policy for this user, we have defined that this domain user cannot change the password. And this domain joined Linux host was able to enforce that policy flawlessly. Now let's exit this terminal window and log out of this system.